happened in terms of endorsements, because there's a lot of endorsement going on left, right, and center. But this time, it was from the former First Lady. Listen to what she had to say about the President, Uhuru Kenyatta.
Na tutwarithie maundu ma bururi na mbere na mumenye na kuria murorete na mutongoria wanyu ndangehota kumuonia kuria njira iri itagirire ndimwire muthie na mbere kumenya ati mutegeti na haria mundu aikaire niwe gukiria thambo iriaga na ndari na uru no ningi ukikionio uru ni ura munyinyi waku ri wagitindania nake githeti uthie na mbere ndeke mwire kuria aramuonia murore kuo ndamucokeria ngatho muno ni undu wa guka kumagaria my cousin. Thank you.
Cherargei, your first reaction to what former First Lady said?
I wish she would keep off politics of the day, because before we wouldn't want to be involved. And you know, what shocks us is when people have questioned before the role of Mama Ngina in Kenyan politics, we have always been warned with dire consequences of insulting the mother of the first president. But I am surprised that same Mama Ngina, all heads of Deputy President and Uhuru Kenyatta during the ICC, number one, and prayed for both. Number two is that I'm surprised Mama Ngina is saying Deputy President has ill intentions, yet he supported the president in 2013. We didn't hear Mama Ngina telling us that Deputy President had ill intentions. 2017, the Mama Ngina also did not tell us whether Deputy President had ill intentions against the president. I don't know why is it now that Deputy President Dr. William Ruto wants to run for president. He has ill intentions because he didn't follow the master book of individuals who think they control this country. You know, the sad reality about this country is that there are people and individuals who believe that this country should go to the direction that they believe, and that is why they are coalescing around the former Prime Minister. So in my own opinion, you know, now the danger of Mama Ngina, she has a right, like any other Kenyan, to make her position known, to vote and campaign. But now when she comes on the firing line of politics, that is a danger that it will not go very well. But my small advice to her is that both people who are running for elected positions, the presidency, all of them are like her children, just like the former, like the outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta. So what she should have done as a former First Lady and the son being the president should be preaching about the unity of the country, should be talking about the love of the country, because at our age we wouldn't want to be exchanging harsh words. But it was very unfortunate and uncalled for, in my own opinion. And I think, you know, this interest shows that there is much more interest than just winning this presidency or retaining within these big families. And some of us know it is more of business interest. And the Deputy President has assured them, by the way, and I want to repeat what Deputy President, that their wealth and any of their interests will be protected. I think they are worried, and we need to be honest with each other, is because they feel that they need somebody in that office that can protect their interests, that can protect their wealth. But the Deputy President has already assured them that their wealth and their interest will be protected. Because I think if you look at all this scenario that is coming up with these big families, the so-called dynasties coming together, is because they just want to protect the wealth they have, the interest they have. But I hope this is the last statement that Mama Ngina will ever make, because if she continues now coming to politics, we'll be forced now to respond back, and I think it will not be fair to her at her age, and having played a very critical role in this in the Republic. I know many people have said, I've read in the books the history, and being the former First Lady during the post-independence of our nation, very critical. What she should be doing is just pray for all of us, show the love, preach peace, and allow the politicians to do the game. All right.
Yeah. We know, is this a matter of vested interest, or is it a matter of having the good heart for our country? Or personal opinion, so to speak?
There are a number of issues that he has raised.
Yeah.
Number one, I've seen the first First Lady has commented about love to one another. She said we should love one another. Where they are not agreeing, where Cherengai is saying that he has said that the deputy had ill intentions.
Yeah.
She's the mother to the president. Your mother knows where your heart is, and your mother may know so much. So I want to believe that if she says there was ill intentions, then there must have been, unless Cherengai is demanding that maybe she explains. But I know the relationship between the president and the deputy president. There are matters that we cannot afford to start washing our dirty linens in the public. And it's a matter of dynasties, then I think Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta ought to have come together earlier. Because in 2002, we saw Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga supporting Mwai Kibaki, who is allegedly not a dynasty because his father was not anybody. You know, Cherengai now in Nandi is a dynasty. His children belong to a dynasty. Because he's already a senator for 2 terms. Because even Raila Odinga is considered a dynasty because his father was a deputy president.
Yes.
He is also, the President Kenyatta is also considered a dynasty. I don't want to believe in, and that is why Cherengai said, you and I, and Senator Matang, Daktari, we must change our landscape of politics for us to move this country forward. And I would also want to request you that sometimes such older people, we avoid calling them by names. I know where you come from.
But I've just said Mama Ngina.
Just tone down, because you are young, you may get cursed. And you have many years to live. If you live with a curse, you'll get a lot of problems. And you are also not allowed to answer her socially.
Yes.
Let people who are older wajibu.
Yes.
Yeah, you relax. You have a lot of time. You have a long way to go. Just take your time.
That respectfully.
Yeah, take. You know, you said you may face her. You may not be allowed.
Yes.
So, and you cannot ask her to keep off politics. She's a member of the society, and very senior indeed. Remember, she was also detained at a particular time. She's not ordinary. She's not just a former First Lady and a mother to the President. So I think what we look at is, Cherengai, I know President Kenyatta and Deputy President were together at ICC and they were prayed for. But you even marry a very beautiful girl and you wed, and you get even 5 children and you still divorce. People differ. So sometimes people differ out of principle.
Yeah.
We may not understand where the difference has come from. But there are so many factors that people will look at. The two of you have been in politics now for long, and I know what you serve most is interests. People who don't serve interests end up even losing elections if you are so principled. But I know they'll serve a lot of interest. But most importantly is that President Kenyatta has worked with his deputy for a long time. They have been brothers putting on similar shirts. And if you see, there appears to be a problem. And me, I can tell you, I'm not in doubt that even if the deputy president fails to become president in this election, I'm not in doubt that he cannot become president in future. Politics, there's no permanent friendship and there's no permanent enmity. And that is why we should forge at looking at how this country can generate wealth, no matter our political differences. Even now, people are going for campaigns. Campaign to your interest. Win the seat you want to win. Let governments be formed.
Okay.
But most importantly is, if you look at the so-called Azimio la Umoja, I think our objective is to unite the country so that we work as a team. And I've said life is very short and it's not permanent.
Okay.
And even if you live for long, you get so old that you don't even like yourself. So what we are saying is, how do we work together as a nation without intimidation, without fighting, bringing our country together, making wealth. And I remain to that, making wealth, generating wealth for our people so that our roads can be better, our hospitals can be better, limit corruption, because I don't know how much you can eat if you make a lot of money. So what I would say is, let us just work as a nation, work together, let people campaign. Because even if I look at the so-called manifestos, they are similar. You will hear the Azimio team talking about Pesa Mfukoni. The same will happen the same is happening with UDA. And if you look at it, these people have been working together. At one point, they have been in one government working together. So I don't know where these problems come from, because the person who suffers is the common man that is lied to. So it's important for people to think strongly. And basically, people will talk about belief system. What do you believe in? For example, Raila believes in democracy, believes in equity. And I think it is a good opportunity for Wamatangi and team to give this old man an opportunity to lead, at least for 5 years, and then we gauge him and say, is this what he fought for? Is this what this man has fought for? We give up, but I know Wamatangi may not want to do that because because you don't want to do that. Anyway, let me stop there.
What I wanted to do, Trevor, is to alert my brother Charles that the house in which we serve in, there is an important rule called the rule of relevance. So that when we are tackling a topic or matter, then we stay relevant to it. Now, the matter was about the comments made by the former First Lady.
And you understand the local dialect. Was there anything that was taken out of context?
Well, first, Trevor, let me say that factually and as a matter of fact, that culturally and where I come from, we don't answer back to our mothers. And so that is a tall order for me to answer back to Mama Ngina, and as my mother, for that matter, I would be very hesitant to answer her back. And so just a few things that I would just comment from the sidelines, not necessarily answering back to her, are that you understand, as they say, that there is no other love that is stronger than or bigger than a mother's love for her child and for her children. And so you expect that in the context of being a mother, that she'll be looking and speaking to issues from that position, from the position of a mother, and especially when she's speaking about matters that will be touching on not only her child but her children. And so I think to that extent, we need to understand that she would be looking at it that way. Secondly, I think it's also important to remember, in the same tone and tenor of that love, she prayed for both the president and the deputy. I remember I was there in Gatundu, and she laid her hands on the two of them, and it was a very emotional picture. I don't know whether you remember that.
Yes.
Very emotional when she put her hands on both the two of them and blessed them for the trip that they were about to make that time. It was actually their first time to head to The Hague. And, that image touched the whole country. And spurred very strong emotions, just how your mother would be sending you with blessings, that no matter where you go, may the good hand and power of the Lord, precede you so that you succeed. That's the message it sent. And that's why I said you invoke that love of a mother, then you get where probably even now she'll be commenting from, because I remember when I was a young fellow, Trevor, I would go and fight with boys. I remember one time fighting with a boy, and then once he tripped me and I fell on my hand, and I dislocated my hand. I ran, and once my mother saw me, she forgets that there could have been other causes to the fight, and the other guy becomes the victim, and she goes straight to their home and,
to deal with.
and goes and confronts the other mother and the father. And how can you do this to my boy? And she forced them to take me to hospital at night, you know, and have my hand fixed. So, I mean, that's what you're talking about. But suffice it to say that everybody is somebody's baby. You get? So then you also find that if you brought in William Ruto's mother, then she would also probably say the same things about her son, that, you know, my son is what, and please do this and that and that. So that's why I said it's a very testy landscape when you're talking about what mothers would say about their children.
All right.
So I think we just need to respect the First Lady, give her the space that, you know, in case she wants to make some comments about, you know, how she sees things, you know, and respect that opinion.
Okay.
And then the politicians can do what they have to do. I think it is the responsibility of those that are sitting in the offices now, the ones who have the reins of power, the ones who know that they have taken oath of office to lead this country in a certain direction, who need to act responsibly. You know, I know what to do, not to cause ripples or chaos that will even reverberate my home, whereby, you know, my brothers and my mother will be forced to make comments or to come out, you know, within the responsibility of my time when I'm in office. I think that's what we should be saying to those that are in power right now, you know, all the way from, you know, the president downwards to the entire government, to those that are now competing for political positions. You know, we take responsibility for what we are doing, act properly, constitutionally, clear the landscape, let the ground and the field be level, and let our rules apply all the time when you're competing for political office.
All right, I'll take a quick break now. When you come back, we're still continuing with the different topics. The next one that we're talking about is the election rigging claims. There's been a lot of claims from left, right, and center from the politicians that the poll may not be fair. We'd like to hear about this in just a bit. Keep your views coming at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag DayBreak. See you shortly.